wasn't doing a good job. There's enough evidence of that, but no one actually campaigned on that. The bread and butter issues were completely ignored. At least they didn't dominate the agenda. And you're saying that giving them mandirs and all that would have actually helped them.
Well, I'm saying that they should have, if there was a forward movement on that, it would have made a difference. There was a feedback that they were saying that it is not only the question of the Hindutva, even on the question of black money, it was a major issue with the electorate. Yes. And they said no steps have been taken. There was, of course, a question also that whether the prices have been brought down to the way it was promised during the campaign. Now, there were issues, but the fact is that in the overall, it's not length and breadth. In Bengal, we have made an entry into the assembly, which we never did before.
I'll come to that later, because that presents some sort of a contradiction.
6 out of 9.
Let me come to that. 6 out of 9 when Anandiben Patel said, I'll give you 9 out of 9.
Well, that is
in Rajasthan,
campaign, we will say that always.
It's been a complete 360 turn in favor of the Congress. But nonetheless, let me just bring in Mr. Kanchan Gupta and Veer Singhvi and the others. I just want to quickly go across the table. Mr. Kanchan Gupta, the corollary argument is, of course, that the Samajwadi Party has performed. I'm sure their spokesperson here is going to say it's our great governance and all the, the sham histrionics of the BJP in trying to puncture our development credentials have been seen through. That's what he's going to say.
Well, I mean, the Samajwadi Party has already, the Chief Minister has said today that the vote is an endorsement of the government's excellent record.
Yes.
And also for Samajwad. So it's a vote for socialism. Now, I don't think we really need to get distracted by such frivolities. I have a different take on the UP performance as far as BJP is concerned. The party organization in the state is in a shambles. It has been in a shambles for years. It has been a non-starter in assembly elections,
but you delivered,
in 2
sir.
successive elections.
Look at the way you delivered.
No, just let me complete.
Historic mandate
just let
in
me complete. And it was Narendra Modi whose sheer force or whose sheer popularity sort of papered over those cracks and crevices in the party organization. Now, this election, there was no Modi factor. It was just a by-election, and hence the organization's real weaknesses came to the fore. Now, it is for the BJP to deal with them.
It's strange, because a large number of your spokespersons just a few days back said that when the BJP did well in the DU election, it was because of the Modi wave. Suddenly, when you don't do well across the country in 9 or 10 states, across 33 seats, it's local factors. Mr. Veer Singhvi, how do you view this?
Just 1 second, Rahul. Now, a last point which I would like to make is that you cannot really take a set of by-elections as some sort of a referendum on the union government. I mean, it doesn't work in real life. It can make good headlines.
Therefore, sir, we are asking a very simple question. I'm addressing ourselves to the situation in Uttar Pradesh, where we saw polarization. We saw a message, a very definitive message, and I'm not looking at the assembly elections as a commentary on Mr. Modi's performance.
Yeah,
we're looking at the odd contradiction. I'm looking at the odd contradiction of a development-first message that is constantly, trundled out from the highest echelons of the party, but in praxis, something completely different emerges, Mr. Veer Singhvi.
When 73 seats were won by the BJP,
okay, let him.
Everybody said it was communal polarization which gave the BJP
a lot of people said that it was the development credentials of Mr. Modi that won over caste, etc. That's what was said. That's why, and people pointed to the BSP's loss, etc.
No, here's the point. Here's the point.
1 second. I just want to bring in Veer Singhvi, and I'm going to go across. Yes,
I agree with almost everybody. I agree with them that there are local factors. These are by-elections. You can't draw broad conclusions.
True.
But I also think that what you said in the package, what you said now about the politics of divisiveness being defeated is important. And that leads me to the conclusion, which is somewhat extraordinary, but I do believe that ultimately this is a victory for Modi. Modi won the election on a development agenda. No sooner did he get into office than the crazies crawled out of the woodwork and said, we want the civil codes, a common civil code, let's get rid of Article 370, let's go on about love jihad, after all we are a Hindu party, we should go on about all of that. So he stepped back. And the UP campaign was really fought on the basis of those kind of issues. It may be that the reason it didn't do well had nothing to do with it.
Because the RSS didn't step up?
Maybe, there may be other reasons, but the general interpretation is going to be that the BJP moved away from development, it went to Hindutva, it did badly. The moment you get that kind of image, then the crazies lose power. Modi and the development agenda is further strengthened.
But
so
the problem,
ultimately, oddly enough, it's not a defeat for Modi, it's a victory.
It's a victory because he'll go back to all of those individuals privately and tell them, we moved beyond. We moved beyond this. Right. Sugata Roy, do you actually agree with that? Or should Mr. Modi have actually come out and taken a stand in the very beginning, Mr. Sugata Roy?
No, I think that the big victory BJP had in the Lok Sabha elections in UP was due to total communal polarization created by the BJP after the Muzaffarnagar riots. And Amit Shah was the main architect of that polarization. Today, with that terrible loss in UP, the first person should be Amit Shah. And it is seen that in all the BJP stronghold, there is a backlash against BJP's communal politics, in UP in a big way, in Rajasthan and Gujarat also, where Congress was totally wiped out in the Lok Sabha elections. It has staged a comeback because Rajasthan and Gujarat are two-party states. So when people go against the BJP, they go for the Congress. We have seen in Parliament, in Lok Sabha here, Yogi Adityanath, the sort of language these people use. Total politics of communalism and polarization.
The TMC wasn't a bystander, sir, in West Bengal.
Not only Yogi Adityanath, Sakshi Maharaj.
True, but
Professor Roy, in which case? Professor Roy, in which case Mamata Banerjee should resign
I'm disappointed.
over the by-election results in West Bengal.
Because most of the by-election result in one of the constituencies took place in a border region.
You're saying all this because you don't know anything. You don't know anything about politics in West Bengal. What happened in West Bengal? Please let me complete the sentence. What happened? The two seats, Chaurangi and Boshirat, were not held by the TMC. Last assembly elections, CPM won from Boshirat South. And in the Lok Sabha election, BJP, through the politics of communal polarization.
But it should have benefited you, sir.
I've been vindicated.
But Mr. Roy, should it not have benefited you? It's a border state, it's a border area.
But how did you fail to get Boshirat?
Those 50,000 votes and the margin was small.
No, it doesn't matter. The point is,
margin of victory in Chaurangi is also very small.
If space to BJP,
Mr. Roy,
they have got a little space.
Okay, Mr. Roy, if the politics of polarization
Chaurangi was won by the Trinamool last.
No, let me ask you, sir.
Let me complete the sentence. Why do you intervene? Let me complete. In Chaurangi, we have won by 14,000 votes. You must remember that in Lok Sabha election, the Congress led by 1,500 votes in the Chaurangi assembly segment.
Yes.
We have made that up and we have won by over 14,000 votes. So from
Mr.
our
Roy,
point of view, we have done well.
Mr. Roy,
very happy. If those 1,500
the thesis is lacking. One second. Some
all
conviction.
The media propaganda
Sir, your
Mamata
thesis
Banerjee
is lacking
has
some
no
conviction because
effect
if communal polarization worked against the Bharatiya Janata Party in Uttar Pradesh because it united all the secular forces, etc., then that should have been to your advantage in Bashirat. That is what should have happened in Bashirat, but it didn't. It didn't happen because
it has been. Because that's how the BJP's vote. Please listen, you must understand a little of politics. Because their majority has been brought down from 30,000 to 1,500 votes. That is, it is acting against communal polarization, some of it. It's called residual polarization, still remains.
Okay, well.
So please understand the details of the seat before you talk about it.
When BJP wins, it is communalism, and when it loses also, it is because of communalism. This is a very strange analysis of election results.
Well, I think I just want to bring in...
Because of people's reaction against...
Okay.
I have said...
I want to bring in Rajiv Rai. I'm coming to you, Dr. Singhvi, in just a few moments. I want to bring in Rajiv Rai, who has been listening patiently. Rajiv Rai, your party is today emerged perhaps the strongest out of this 33 bipole election. What do you put it down to? What do you put this down to, Mr. Rai?
Rahul, thank you very much for attributing all those words which certainly I would have liked to say. You have already told. But I'll go beyond that. We are very happy we have won in the UP. But after last parliament election, just recollect and go through all those results in bipolls. It started from Bihar, Uttaranchal, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan. Dr. Swami will not agree. The arrogance of and kick of power, or maybe fear of the dictator in becoming that Modi ji, will not allow him to concede the fact that sooner the better. Country has realized that hate politics is not going to work, communal politics is not going to work, and you cannot go on making fool the country forever. You came to the parliament election with all those rosy picture, progressive politics, development politics, and then 5 months you did not deliver anything. You came back to the square, started talking love jihad. People are wondering, why do you remember Panchkoshi Parikrama before the parliament election? Why do you remember Ram Mandir? Why do you remember Kashmir issue? Why do you remember love jihad? All just before the election, and then you forget. All those big talks, Modi's big talks, has delivered nothing to this country.
Let's get into this.
Beginning, and let me assure you, this is not just a beginning.
Mr. Singhvi today has propounded
by
an interesting theory.
Please underline one sentence. Allow me, Rahul. Allow me, Rahul, to complete this. Please underline this and this thing. We have fought against two old friends fighting together. They had an underhand understanding, BJP and BSP. Had BSP contested, I'm sure you would have swept all the seats and BJP would have got nil.
Okay. Now, Dr. Swami, the fact of the matter is...
So there's a correction over here, just a minor, since he has just said this.
Yeah.
Had the BSP contested,
the BJP might
the
have...
BJP would have swept the UP by-elections. You ensured the BSP stays out.
No,
so that,
I mean, you are
wait a
making
second, I did not
so
interrupt
that strengthens
you, sir.
the argument
So
that secular forces...
You ensured the
whether
BSP stays
tacitly,
out,
no,
so that
sir,
polarization
yes. No, Dr. Singhvi wants to come in on that point, because once again, therefore, it seems that the secular line has held.
The Samajwadi Party has
but
won.
Mr. Gupta, that should be worrying for you. That should be worrying for you, because if it's coming down to BJP versus the rest, then you have a problem. If it's going to be on...
Dr. Gupta, you are at liberty to make your own interpretation. You conveniently forget the last parliament election, the BSP got 0 because their voters went to the BJP.
Yeah.
When the BJP won, you all started saying because BSP vote has been transferred to the BJP, they
So you're proving his point.
You are proving
if there was a tacit understanding, why don't you own up to it? Because it will only strengthen your argument. Dr. Singhvi, I want you to come in here. There seems to be a bit of a pattern. You look at Bihar and you look at Uttar Pradesh. If the secular forces have come together, whether overtly or covertly, it has hit the Bharatiya Janata Party. There's a message here. Would you agree?
Absolutely, there is no doubt. But the secular forces have to come together credibly, and at least for medium term, if not long term. But in principle, what you're saying is absolutely right. A vote division within the secular forces must be avoided or at least minimized, and that will show results everywhere. And I think that should be tried in the states which are going to the forthcoming polls. But I want to make two quick other points. One is the very intriguing and interesting theory of my friend Mr. Veer Singhvi. It's very interesting, but there is a bit of a contradiction there also, because Mr. Singhvi says that Modi actually in that sense has won because he stood for development, and now there's a divisiveness which is not his agenda. But then I think Mr. Modi did not need to allow a election defeat over 33 seats today to validate the point that he has won. Because I think what has happened is that people have also seen through the hypocrisy of him giving nice words from Red Fort and then running with the hare and hunting with the hound. His silence, had he roundly condemned the Yogi Adityanaths, the Singhals, the whatever, the Nagpur people and others, you would have sent a different message. By keeping silent, he may have made his development agenda point, if Veer Sanghvi's theory is to be believed, but he has lost an election. So I don't understand this hypocrisy of keeping silent is really now proving very detrimental to the BJP, because people are seeing that here's a person who wants to ride both horses. And one last sentence,
okay.
I think it's a bit rich and a bit incredible to expect that the SP will make the BSP not stand, or the SP will be in cahoots with the BSP, or that there will be an understanding. I think that's a bit too rich and too impossible to believe.
Well,
so
whichever way the BSP stayed clear. Now, they haven't explained why, but I just want you to come in on that point that Dr. Singhvi was making on the earlier point you made, Mr. Sanghvi.
What he's really saying is that if Modi wanted to say that development is important and keep the sort of crazies in their place, he should have spoken out earlier. This is too high a price to pay. It's a valid point. I'm not sure Modi thought it was going to get to this stage. I also think that if he tried to put the crazies in their place earlier, there would have been a revolt. He needed some kind of expression of national disgust at this kind of Hindutva divisive agenda. He needed people to see that it doesn't work any longer. This is a new India. This is an aspirational India. This is an India that wants results, not nonsense but love jihad.
So I'm asking you, Dr. Swami, because you hold a different view.
Yeah,
you
totally
say that
different.
had he gone even more, had all those who
I'm
are on
not
the ground...
I'm not talking about the rhetoric. I'm saying if the action had been initiated, then we would have been able to speak to our electorate to say that this process has started.
So that means Mr. Modi, by not speaking,